Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dental Disruptors Podcast. My name is Jake Larson. You'll notice things are a little bit different today because I do not have Clint Berry with me, my co-host, because this episode this week is different than one that we've ever done before. We recently attended the Dykema meeting in Denver, Colorado. For those of you that don't know, most of our listeners probably do, but Dykema is one of the largest dental conferences in the United States, and in particular is attended by primarily larger dental organizations, group dental practices, so DSOs, DPOs, those types of groups. And it was our first time attending. It was awesome, and we thought that it would be fun while we were there to engage with industry experts and ask them what they're seeing in the industry as the most disruptive technology, disruptive news, best practices, whether it be positive or negative, and just interview some people there and find out what they had to say about what they have seen disrupting the dental industry right now. So I hope that you enjoy that content. Sorry if some of it's a little bit repetitive. We couldn't control what people answered, but I think it's really telling to kind of hear what those individuals are seeing, hearing, feeling as those things interrupting the industry or disrupting the industry. So enjoy, and hopefully you learn something.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are here at Dykema with our first interview for our Ask the Expert segment. And we're here with our friend, Katie. Katie, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Katie Robinson. I'm the Director of Business Operations for Lightwave Dental.
Yeah. And we are here asking everybody a single question, and we're really excited to hear what Katie has to say. We have a feeling this is going to be really good. So, Katie, what is the most disruptive technology, event, best practice, anything disruptive? What's the most disruptive thing you're seeing in dentistry today?
I think for positive disruption, centralized strategy is one that I would go with. I think centralizing things like billing, scheduling, your analytics, centralizing all of that to me is one of the most positive disruptors right now. As a DSO, we have the ability to centralize and streamline and have a single playbook across our business. I think AI, we all are talking about AI at this event, and I think that plays really well into centralized strategy.
Awesome. There's so many questions I want to dig into there, but we're going to hold it to one. I do got to ask Katie, though, because she asked, can it be a negative disruptor? So I want to give her a couple more seconds to share what the negative disruptor is.
I would say labor market volatility. We're seeing a real problem, obviously hiring hygienists, qualified dental assistants. What we're having to pay for qualified people is shooting up, and it's a real problem in the industry.
What's really interesting is how those two things correlate.
Exactly.
Centralizing, picking up efficiency helps on that side.
It does, yep, for
so
sure.
Any advice that you would give people out there trying some of those centralized strategies, anything that you're seeing that's working or anything you're doing personally?
At my organization, we have already centralized part of our billing, our RCM team. It's going really, really well. We started last year. And we're also looking to centralize our scheduling operations. So we're, implementing VoIP phones where we can have remote scheduling coordinators who are answering phones at the practice level, saving practice level team members time. If they're having to answer the phone a lot, they can't be present for patients, and increasing patient experience is really important right now. So that's what we're doing.
So awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. We love your little advice there. Love the negative thing and the positive thing. So good. Thanks so much for joining us, Katie. Appreciate having you. All right, everybody, here we are. We're here with a good friend of ours, Eric. Eric and I have run into each other at events for a little while. Stumbled upon him here at Dykema, so we're excited to hear what he has to say in our Ask the Expert series. So Eric, here's the question. The question is, what is the most disruptive thing, technology, event, best practice, whatever it is, what's the most disruptive thing you're seeing in dentistry today?
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. And I think for me, my background is really in operations, having owned a DSO and scaled it. What I look for really being on the cutting edge of technology today and really changing what we're doing in the moment that I've seen so far is optimizing that operations team. So making sure that, we're supporting them and not replacing them. And I was just at a dinner last night for a company that's doing a really cool thing, and they're actually listening in to the operatory and how the doctors are talking to patients to be able to understand and lead them to better resolutions for patients and ultimately treating them better by being able to hone in on communication styles. There's been this gap in data that we've had. We've known that doctors or offices have had, treatment plan percentage closures at a certain number, but the question has always been why? And there hasn't been good answers up until now. And so deploying this AI to create that bridge between the treatment plan being closed and not really is what we're ultimately getting to now is listening in to a lot of those conversations that are happening, what the outcomes are, and then being able to sit down with the doctors and help coach them to better results. Something we haven't been able to do without AI. And now with the introduction to AI and the comfort level that we have, we're finally closing that loop in the operatory of how can we get better outcomes for our patients.
A little follow-up question to that, because Clint and I were just talking, and Clint's like, I didn't even think that I followed through with my last procedure checkup, right? The treatment plan proposal, Clint hadn't even done it, right? And we all probably fall into that bucket, but I think that's just what you're talking about, right? There's this gap. I mean, you've got Overjet and Pearl, and the AI is helping with the clinical, right? But converting that to patients actually being taken care of, not just like the bottom line of the practice itself, but what's in the best interest of the patients to get that taken care of, have the best oral health they can have, and not miss those gaps.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just being able to communicate, and I think every dentist needs to be able to be aware of their communication style, how things are being presented, because at the end of the day, to your point, we have all this data about what patients need, but then you have the human side of this and the conversation and the trust that you need to build with your patients and the rapport so that you can ultimately make them understand and what the best avenues are to make sure that everyone does understand what they need, because at the end of the day, we want the best possible results for our patients, and that is different for every doctor that's out there, and it's really important for them to understand what their style is and then understand how they can improve communication to ultimately get the results they're looking for.
Super awesome. Really good insight. Thanks, Eric, for joining us. He it's almost like he knew this was coming. He did so well. We literally just grabbed him out of the hallway. So
Anytime.
Yeah, no prep at all, but thanks, Eric, for joining us. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody, we're here with another friend of ours. This is Deena. Actually, this is a special one because she is one of our nominees for the top operation leader in dentistry. So when we had the chance to meet with Deena to do this little conversation, we were really excited. So Deena, we're grabbing people here at Dykema and asking them one question, okay? We want to know from industry leaders like you, what is the most disruptive thing, technology, practice, challenge? Like, what do you feel like is disrupting dentistry the most right now?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's a good one. My brain's going crazy. I have so many. So the first thing that came to mind was just people, like staffing, getting really good team members that come into dentistry and want to stay in dentistry. It's just a challenge right now that we're having. But when I think about the challenge that we're having, it's because there's just a lot that they're not used to doing, and they don't maybe have the passion for dentistry that we had before. But what's really cool now, if I spin it to a positive thing, is just all the innovation that's coming in. So what I've noticed here at Dykema, as I've walked around and listened to some of the sessions, is we're talking a lot about technology and talking about how to make it more comfortable, always, of course, for the patient, but also for the staff, for the team. It's so important to make their jobs more effective, more efficient, and I think that's what's going to help make the dental assistants, the front desk auxiliaries, the treatment plan coordinators, the office managers, to really make dentistry fun again. So I think the most disruptive thing is the technology in a positive way.
And it's interesting. We've had some other conversations similar to this, and the AI and other technologies that people are learning about that improve the not only the patient workflow, but the efficiency and how much the staff and others can accomplish. Have you seen any cool technology here that's like, I think this is something that's going to help us with this kind of negative disruption of the staffing problems? Like, here's some things that are going to help us kind of get out of that.
Yeah, totally. So, patient experience is the most important thing. And oftentimes we think about like, okay, we have to do the appropriate paperwork and we have to do all this types of things. And we forget at the end of the day that there's the patient there that we have to really make sure that we're talking to and that we're connecting with. What I've noticed is a lot of the software, a really cool one that I heard about today was Dental Bee. It is making that a really, really great experience because what it's doing is it's taking it's integrated into the patient appointment, and it's taking the ability to the conversation that the dental assistants, the doctors, the patients are having, and it's able to use AI and integrate it into helping create documentation and charting and referrals. So what that ultimately is doing, it's making the front desk, the dental assistant, not feel like they have to be in their computer just typing a bunch of notes. They actually get to stop and listen to the patient and engage with the patient. Pearl is another one. We were just looking at x-rays and what Pearl's been able to do. I mean, they are totally making it a game changer, making it much more efficient. So we're not having to sit there and just really just only look at that screen, look at those radiographs. We're able to look at the radiographs, use our clinical judgment, and then have a conversation with the patient. It's just mind-blowing.
So cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Deena, for joining us. I really love how she got to some specific technologies, which is really cool. So thank you so much for taking a minute with us. We love hearing what industry leaders like you have to share with our guests. So thanks for taking a few minutes with us.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Hello, everybody. We got an amazing guest. Probably doesn't need much introduction for those in the DSO space. Know Dr. G very well, but he's here with us to answer our Dykema question for Ask the Experts. But I'll let Dr. G just introduce himself real quick for those that don't know him. So,
all right,
Dr. G,
thank
give
you.
us a quick intro.
Appreciate it. Alex Giannini, the CEO for Align Dental. We're a consulting management partnership company based out of Sarasota, Florida. We provide consulting and management services to entrepreneurial groups who are trying to figure out how to grow and to go to the next level. So we have the nice vantage point of seeing things go around the country. We have about 800 offices in the network in terms of consulting management and partnerships. So
amazing. Yeah. So cool. So who better to ask than you of what we see out there in the industry that's disrupting it? So Dr. G, the question we're asking industry leaders today while we're at Dykema is, what is the most disruptive thing, whether it's technology, best practice, positive or negative, what's the most disruptive thing you see in dentistry today?
Definitely technology, right? So in AI, and what AI is doing both from a clinical perspective and then operationally as well, and from a management perspective. So we're constantly testing different types of technology, but we're seeing huge differences with with AI in the use of X-rays. In revenue cycle, in terms of processing claims and claims management, there's just this huge thirst or for data and data management, right? Data warehouse. We're working on trying to figure out how to manage data. That to me seems. I'm using AI myself now to start learning how to process emails when you get 400 emails a day,
yeah.
Right? So as I said, across the board, clinically, in the companies that are, or the dentists that are adopting, AI or the tools that come along with that, you can see the big difference. You're seeing ROI, whether it's clinically or operationally. So.
Wow. And this is coming from a individual whose eyes and team are on 800 locations, right? So this is data backed. Really cool to just hear how I'll take a step back. You think about where dentistry was 10, 15 years ago when we started at Weave, when integrated VoIP technology was a huge thing. Now we're looking at AI, and like you mentioned, it's got impacts on the clinical side, on the operational side, in so many different ways. Yeah. And it's a common theme here at Dykema, so it's obviously making a really big impact and disrupting. So thanks, Dr. G, for joining us. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. We've got another awesome guest on our podcast today. This is Brandi. The first time we've actually met, we connected on LinkedIn. She agreed to do this. Maybe has had a second to think about it. I don't know. But either way, I'm going to let Brandi introduce herself real quick so that our audience can get to know her a little bit, and then we'll dive in. Okay. So introduce yourself for us, Brandi.
Absolutely. My name is Brandi Carter. I'm a director of operations at Sage Dental.
Awesome. How long have you been with Sage?
I've been with Sage for about 3.5 years now. I was with another large DSO for about 8 years prior to that.
Okay, cool. So, Brandi, I know I gave you a little bit of a precursor to this, but the question we're asking industry leaders today is, what is the most disruptive technology, event, best practice, whatever you're seeing out there, what's the most disruptive thing you're seeing in dentistry today?
Absolutely. So, fantastic question. I think the most disruptive thing right now is AI technology and kind of the digital transformation that we're seeing behind the scenes. I think that it's a positive disruption, though, because we're looking at things like AI diagnosis. We're looking at 3D printers. There's so much more integration to go into helping our teams, like RCM. It's helping our staff learn better, and it's helping the patient experience overall. So I think the people who are following along with AI right now and really deep diving into it and leading into it, those are going to be the ones that you see just kind of skyrocket over the next couple of years. The ones who are afraid, I can tell you, don't be afraid of it. Lean into it, have some fun with it. It's changing, it's already here. Just lean in and have some fun and continue to grow and learn with it. It will change your business for the positive.
I think that's fascinating because as we've been in the dental industry for like 15 years, I have felt that as AI has kind of entered the space, that there's been a lot of like trepidation and fear about it. Do you feel like you felt some of that initially and maybe have had some experience where like, okay, I'm behind this and like you're ready to go with it? Or what has led you to have that confidence like this is here for the positive?
Absolutely. So one of the things is Sage Dental is technology forward, right? We try and have the latest and greatest. So when I joined Sage, I was definitely against AI. It just wasn't something that I knew a lot about. And I think that change is difficult because you don't know what you don't know. So you're always worried about the things that can disrupt the patient experience or even the team member experience. But what we don't realize is that change is needed. It's coming. We can't stop it, right? And the more we try and push it away, the more harm we're doing towards our patients and our team members. So I was very hesitant in the beginning, but now that I've seen it in work, I've seen it helping people, I've seen it helping patients, I'm all for it. And I say, dive in, lean into it, have fun with it, and just know that change is coming and you have to accept it and you have to embrace it.
Yeah, sometimes disruption has maybe a negative connotation, like the word like, oh, change is hard, but like change can drive really powerful things for the patient and the practice. Are there any specific AI technologies that you can share with us that you're using with, like personally or just within the Sage organization that are really having an impact for you?
Absolutely. So the first thing that we implemented was Sprint Ray. So we do 3D printing for our crowns now. It was fantastic. We started about 1.5 years ago in a pilot office, actually one of my practices. Again, at the beginning, everybody's afraid of it. Now that doctor pumps out 50 to 60 crowns through that printer a month and absolutely loves it and crushes it. Another thing that we utilize too is obviously AI diagnosis. So we use video, we also use Pearl right now. And you can see the difference in the confidence of the doctors, especially maybe not newer grads, but the ones that only have 2 to 3 years of experience. They're able to come in and feel a little bit more confident about diagnosing and a little bit more confident about showing it to the patient. It's really hard to see a 2D image. It's a lot easier when you have, AI telling you, hey, this pocket is this much, you have a cavity starting here, here's what we're seeing, and then the doctor can say, yep, I see the same thing that's going on, let's go ahead and prevent it. Rather than, facing dentistry as something that's reactive, we're now able to become so much more proactive.
Wow, that's cool. And some people might, I would be curious, I don't know if there's data to back this up. Our friends over at Pearl, you could probably tell us this, but I wonder how the conversion rates of treatment accepted has increased since the doctors are feeling that confidence using AI. Do you have data behind that, or is this just like you just kind of have seen it?
I don't have specific data that I can think of right off the top of my head, but half of my practices are using Vidya, the other half are using Pearl. I would say the offices that embrace it and utilize it do see an increase. The doctors who get behind it and really try and educate the patients with it, you can see an increase in their revenue, you can see increases in what they're doing daily. Overall, they're happier too. It's easier to present for the patient. The patients understand it a lot more, and you're not having to spend 20 minutes trying to convince the patient it's what they need. They can see it's what they need.
Yeah. We have some friends over at Pearl. We're going to get some data on this. It was sweet. Also, Brandi, thank you so much for joining us. This has been great. We appreciate everyone for listening, and we'll have a few more of these interviews coming up. All right, hey, everybody. We are here with a great friend of ours. This is Andy. We've known Andy for, a few months since we started Kala, or since doing this data warehousing thing, and he's been great to give us good advice. There are very few people in the industry like Andy that know technology, that know data, that know dental on top of it. So we're excited to talk to him. So Andy, before we ask you our question in our Ask the Expert series, introduce yourself to our listeners real quick.
All right. Hi, my name is Andy Taylor. I am Vice President of Technology for Dentiv. We're a DSO based in Provo, Utah, and I do all things data and cyber and technology for all those practices. That's what I do.
Fantastic. He knows his stuff. So, Andy, the question that we are here at Dykema asking people is this. What is the most disruptive thing you're seeing in dentistry today?
Yeah, and you're very kind, first off. Thank you.
Yeah.
But no, the thing that we're seeing in dentistry today is just a gigantic, unique set of circumstances that are making it really hard to continue with that DSO model, whether that's increase in prices for supplies or the tariffs or increases of all of the patient being more selective or prices of supply of the people that are working at the practices. All of that has kind of led to a very unique set of circumstances so the most disruptive thing I would say is it's forcing all of us to think and to analyze more and be more careful about the technologies and the processes that we deploy with our practices. It's also, some of the things about dentistry will never change. Our partners, the providers, they're awesome. And we need to be able to give them the tools to be successful. And I care about that a great deal. So against this backdrop of difficult situation, we have a unique opportunity right now to get smarter about the things that we do. So, and data is one of them. And it's been talking to the guys at Kala. You guys are awesome. You're doing it right from the start.
I'm going to summarize that. So when you look at the world around dentistry, there's so many, we'll just call them interesting things impacting it might have been easier to be more profitable in the past, and it might have been easier to go buy new practices. Money was easier to get in order to expand, and now all of those outside things are coming onto dentistry. It's forcing dentistry to think smarter, to be more efficient, to make sure that the tools and things that they're using they're getting value out of them. Would you say that's kind of an accurate summary of what 100%. You're saying?
Yeah, 100%. And these outside external forces are causing us, and I think in a lot of good ways, you're going to see a lot of good innovation. You're going to see a lot of smart people. And that's one of the great things about coming here to these places and meeting with people like Kala. You're just meeting with smart people, and smart people doing smart things is the right thing for DSOs.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andy. Very cool answer. We appreciate taking a few minutes with us. Okay, everybody. So thank you so much for listening / watching the Ask the Experts segment at Dykema. I hope it was useful and there was something interesting. Clint and I have talked and digested it a little bit, and our next episode that we are going to do is going to be us sharing our thoughts from the event, what we learned, some of the takeaways from these conversations that we had with industry experts outside of just what you saw in the recording, and some really good stuff. So stay tuned for our next episode where Clint and I will do a wrap up of Dykema and what our takeaways were. But thank you for joining us today on this episode of Dental Disruptors Podcast, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks so much.